President David Granger addresses the United Nations at a high-level meeting in Ethiopia, then travels to Brazil for a Mercosur Summit. The President summons Cabinet to its earliest meeting to spearhead flood relief efforts after Ghana's coast is hit by record rainfall and the head of state celebrates his birthday with a Thanksgiving. We'll have the details of these and other presidential activities in this week's edition of the Diary for the period July 11 to July 17, 2015. I'm Paul McAdam. President David Granger addressed a key United Nations summit and called on other nations to adopt sustainable practices in production and consumption. The Guyanese head of state led a delegation to participate in the United Nations Third International Conference on Financing for Development in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. President Granger renewed Ghana's solidarity with Africa and all other countries in their quest for sustainable development and to provide a good life for their people.
We renew Guyana's solidarity with Africa and all other countries in their quest for sustainable development and to provide a good life for their peoples. We renew our country's commitment to cooperation with other states in the search for solutions to the challenges that beset us. We renew our aspirations for prosperity, for equality, for dignity, and for security for all people everywhere. Guyana has had the honor of working with Norway and our host, Ethiopia, as well as with the entire international community on the preparation for this momentous conference. The draft outcome document submitted for our consideration is the result of painstaking labor to build a forward-looking framework and a solid foundation for global development efforts. We support its early adoption by this conference. We meet in testing times for the international community, overshadowed by the lowering of global growth prospects by the International Monetary Fund and the rising of political and humanitarian crises affecting millions of people across the globe.
The President noted that the Conference on Financing for Development is more than merely a meeting to mull over the modalities of financing.
It is about strengthening our confidence in the efficacy of multilateralism. It is about the collective exercise of our political will for the benefit of our peoples, for the benefit of our planet, and for the benefit of posterity. It is about shaping the future we want for our peoples for generations to come. Guyana is a small state, but one that is committed to sustainable development. Ours has been a long and arduous quest to secure a good life for our people. Our experiences have reinforced our resolve to build a more resilient economy, a more inclusionary democracy, and a more cohesive and coherent society. We are committed to overcoming the common enemies of our people: crime, disease, ignorance, and poverty. We share the objectives of this conference for sustainable development. Mr. Chairman, security and stability are indispensable to sustainable development and the pursuit of prosperity. We resent, we reject, and we resist the threat of the use of force or any unilateral coercive attempt by any one state against another in order to frustrate the legitimate aspirations of our people to enjoy a good life. The Charter of the United Nations and the tenets of international law must guarantee all states and peoples the benefits of secure livelihoods and sustainable development.
He added that the conference must make a fundamental contribution to the thrust towards greater global cooperation as they embark on an ambitious and transformative post-2015 development agenda.
First, we must renew global solidarity and our collective will to resolve global problems in a timely and effective manner. If we are serious about sustainable development, then we must be serious in our quest for mitigating the effects of climate change. This conference must inspire confidence in the collective commitment to implementing the post-2015 agenda. We will agree next September in New York, and we will aim to reach next December in Paris in the once-in-a-generation agreement to ensure that global temperature rise is contained within 2 degrees centigrade. Second, we must acknowledge that while governments must exercise leadership, the requisite actions and investments cannot be executed by governments alone. Other stakeholders must realize that their efforts will also be essential to delivering the future we want. The enterprise of development must count on the contribution of all segments of society. It must empower local communities and harness the talents of all of the people, especially women and youth. Third, it is clear that the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals will place heavy demands upon all countries. Our efforts to achieve the Millennium Development Goals taught us that significant progress is possible when the international community works together. Developed countries must continue to exercise real leadership in fostering international development cooperation. Equally, developing countries must continue to intensify their efforts.
Guyana, the president said, welcomes the emphasis of the draft outcome on these areas. He emphasized as well that the attention given to bridging the infrastructure gap must be continued, along with fostering of sustainable consumption and production patterns, along with promoting micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises.
The establishment of a technology facilitation mechanism, the strengthening of the Committee of Experts on Tax Cooperation, and the establishing of a dedicated forum within the United Nations to deliberate on the follow-up on issues for financing and development hold great potential to make the Addis Ababa Action Agenda transformational. Guyana is pleased to note the provisions contained with respect to the issues of concern to countries, such as the LDCs, LLDCs, and SIDS in special situations. The challenges faced by middle-income countries, not least of all the large number of small states in the Caribbean, also deserve the attention of the international community. For our region, the issue of debt is of particular concern, as the terms of trade which often work against the interests of small states. Chairman, Excellencies, this third International Conference on Financing for Development marks an important stage in our collective endeavor to secure a brighter and more sustainable future. Allow us to iterate our thanks for the opportunity which this conference provides to renew ties of friendship and cooperation. We renew also our common resolve to build a brighter, more secure, and more sustainable future for ourselves, for our children, and for generations to come.
The 70th birthday of the president saw him being feted at the Ghana Defense Forces base camp in Ghana on July 15. The celebration, which featured presentations from close friends, associates, and well-wishers, was appreciated by the Commander-in-Chief, who described it as a thanksgiving for him.
I was greeted by a friend in the mess before we came across here to ask what sort of gift I would like. I said, give me another school boat. I think they won't ask again. Every river I've been to, Demerara River, Berbice River, Mazaruni River, Pomeroon River, Essequibo River, children cannot get to school because they don't have boats. Sometimes you see children paddling to school, they get there tired, they have to paddle back home at night. So this is a very practical gift. So hold the frankincense, hold the myrrh. Let's have cool boats. I don't mean to be profane. Those people who prefer frankincense or myrrh on their birthdays can continue. But I want to get more school boats so that every Guyanese child can get to school.
President Granger also thanked his family and wife, to whom he has been married to for some 45 years.
I've come this far largely because of her love and support over the years. Yeah, we had a mattress on the ground on the night of the 11th of May, and she was sleeping at the campaign headquarters there with me. That's how she spent the 11th of May. on the floor of the campaign headquarters. But she's been with me on the campaign trail, as she has been with me these last 4.5 decades. Thank you, Sandra, for your support and love.
He described leadership as a long, lonely lane, noting that in the final analysis, a leader must accept responsibility for what has or has not occurred. Reflecting on the changes wrought since Guyana's independence, President Granger described the nation's state with regards to this as an incomplete work.
It is the duty of our government, the APNU plus AFC, as we aim at the 50th anniversary of independence next year, to continue to make Guyana a freer place. That vision, that sense of mission inspired us 50 years ago, and it still inspires me as I work together with my colleagues in APNU AFC to make sure that Guyana gives every single Guyanese a good life. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to see all of you here with me today. And I'm very happy to be able to speak to you as President of Guyana. But no great accomplishment is the work of a single person. Thousands of people have worked to make this event possible today. In the diaspora, where I started my campaign, they wanted to check me out, I'm told. In the hinterland regions, in the party itself, in the Guyana Legion up the road, thousands of people, 206,000 people came out to support APNU and AFC because they believed in better. Today, it's impossible to call out the names of all of the persons who've helped. But today I feel very proud that there has been a change in Guyanese politics.
The Commander-in-Chief once again clarified his views on the newest claim being made by Venezuela to Guyana's territory. President Granger gave his opinion on the latest move by Venezuela to issue another decree with a claim to Guyana's territory.
Let me make this clear when I use these remarks, because sometimes things don't translate well into Spanish. Decree 1787 is like a fishbone in my throat. I'm not calling people fishes now. Decree 1787 is a fishbone in my throat. It's stuck there. And I would like to thank our colleagues in the Caribbean community for helping to remove that bone. It has been replaced by a smaller bone, but a bone nevertheless. And in that regard, throughout my military service, we have been struggling with a monkey on our backs.
The head of state explained that the position taken by the neighboring country is worse than a nuisance, as it is hindering Guyana's development.
No country can survive ignoring a claim of 2/3 of its territory. No country could survive with having its petroleum exploration vessels expelled by force. No country could survive with having its neighbors behave in such a manner, actually obliterating the prospects of the future of many of our children. You know, in international relations, it is said that you can choose your friends, you can't choose your neighbors. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your neighbors. But I choose to have my neighbors as friends. And I continue to offer the hand of friendship to President Nicolas Maduro Moros. The Guyanese people will be friends to Venezuela, friends to Brazil, friends to Suriname, friends to the Caribbean, friends to the entire international community. What hatred could a people of 750,000, a small country, a small state, what hatred could we hold to bigger states, 4 times our size? So, President Maduro, you have our friendship. I'm not interested in corvettes. I'm interested in school boats. You see the picture there? Next time you want to send a vessel, send some school boats. And people will know that you come in friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel very happy to be here. As I said 24 hours ago, I was heading from Dubai to John F. Kennedy, and 24 hours from now I'll be in Brasilia doing the work for which I was elected. There's a lot to be done, a lot to be achieved, and this function today is a great encouragement to me. It's an encouragement because I believe that it signifies that Guyanese are starting to realize that as a united nation, although we are a small state, we could overcome the obstacles facing us if we work together. Norman has said it, at least he's spoken with some part of the annual confidential report. I'm very grateful for that. But this is not about a military mission. This is about a mission for our children. This is about the future, not only of Guyanese children, it's about the future of this continent. It's about the future of the Caribbean.
The president repeated his desire to see the Caribbean as a zone of peace.
I would like to be able to have a country without an army. Maybe we'll have a militia which helps with civil defense and helps to ensure our territorial integrity. But the GDF is there to make sure we don't lose any cuirasses, no blades of grass. But I hope the time will come when the threat of armed invasion is completely removed.
Following the recent discovery just over a month ago of a significant oil find by ExxonMobil in Galus waters, some 120 nautical miles off the Demerara coast, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro Moros issued a new decree claiming rights to the area. This move has since been condemned by CARICOM members and nations such as the United States, Colombia, and Suriname. Record amounts of rainfall and the subsequent flooding of Guyana's capital Georgetown and parts of the coastal plain resulted in a pre-dawn cabinet meeting. President Granger at 4 a.m. on July 16 summoned an emergency meeting of the cabinet in light of intensive rainfall in Georgetown, the East Coast and other areas. The Civil Defense Commission, the CDC, was activated and the Guyana Defense Force instructed to support the Ministry of Public Infrastructure along with the Ministry of Communities in flood relief efforts. The day began with an intense period of rainfall lasting more than 16 hours, with Georgetown alone experiencing approximately 70 millimeters of rainfall. The east coast of Demerara received approximately 100 millimeters, whilst Lenora in Region 3 was recorded as having 225 millimeters. This rainfall resulted in flooding in most low-lying areas. The following decisions and actions were taken as a result of that emergency meeting. An aerial survey of the coastal area of the country was done to ascertain the extent of flooding along the coast. The Ministry of Public Security and Communities contacted all regional offices and stations along with police outposts to obtain a quick briefing of affected areas. Shelters were established in suitable areas for residents that needed temporary accommodation, and traffic restrictions were issued along with advisories to citizens indicating that all non-essential travel be avoided. Cabinet met again at 8 hours on the same day, where a report on the flood situation in regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 was given. From that report, Cabinet was able to determine that Region 4 was the most affected region, with some amount of flooding also occurring on the west coast and west bank of Demerara in Region 3. The regional chairman and regional executive officers in other assessed regions indicated that the flood situation in their regions was manageable. Acting President and Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu congratulated France as that country celebrates its National Day. Prime Minister, First Vice President and Acting President Moses Nagamutu congratulated France on behalf of the government and peoples of Guyana as that European Republic celebrated Bastille Day with a reception at the Carol Lodge in Commonwealth Street, Georgetown. Bastille, or France's National Day, is celebrated annually on July 14.
The storming of the Bastille in 1789 has inspired generations of revolutionaries all over the world to fight against aristocracy and authoritarian rule. In Guyana, on May 11, in our own way, we too observed our Bastille Day, when free and fair elections ended in a change of government after 28 years. Excellency, the long-standing diplomatic relations between Guyana and France have evolved considerably over many, many years. Our collaboration has been broad-based, extending across bilateral, regional, and international platforms.
The acting president noted that Ghana was grateful to France for its assistance in offering technical and economic cooperation in several areas.
These include language training, military and police cooperation, and more recently, the specialized training provided to firefighters within the last week, to which His Excellency the Ambassador referred. We hope that in the near future, we could secure opportunities for training in weather forecasting. As you know, we were supposed to have 100% possibility of rain at this point in time, as well as humanitarian assistance for flood victims. So that I wish to, in my conversation with Ambassador, to say that we do need proper forecasting of our weather, and I understand France is a very good place for which such training could be provided. In the past, all of these meaningful efforts have contributed significantly to our national well-being. We therefore look forward to the further enhancing of cooperation with France, particularly in the area of trade, foreign economic investment, and crime fighting. And we do hope that the formalization of Guyana's honorary consulate in Cayenne, French Guyana, will also help to boost these efforts in the short term.
The French ambassador, Michael Prom, in his remarks expressed his solidarity to all affected by the recent flooding and noted that the fight against climate change is one that is vital to the planet.
The summit, with all the head of governments of CARICOM and the president of the French Republic, which gather in Martinique on the 9th of May, has recognized this situation and adopted the so-called Declaration of Fort-de-France. Guyana has long been involved in this struggle, and its contribution will be important to the success of the conference that France will host in December. On the Guyana Shield, together Guyanese, Surinamese, but also Brazilian and France and French Guyana, we found ourselves in a project to reduce deforestation and promote the richness of our common forest heritage in the context of REDD+ mechanism. The fight against crime and respect for the rule of law is another challenge that we share. I take this opportunity to thank the authorities and people of Guyana and diplomatic representation present here for the solidarity shown earlier this year in the context of the Paris bombing, which shows that there are battles that concern us all.
The president attended a high-level Mercosur meeting with South and Latin American leaders. In what was his first official engagement with the region since assuming the presidency of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana just 8 weeks ago, President David Granger said his attendance at the Mercosur Summit was a demonstration of government's commitment to the process of regional integration, to the promotion of friendly relations with all countries of the region, and the production of an economic system that will enhance the prosperity of the continent. The president said that, quote, Ghana believes in integration. We are committed to the infrastructural integration of the continent. We are negotiating for a road access between Ghana and Brazil through a bridge link which has already been built. The construction of a highway will intensify trade and investments with Brazil and other countries of the south. We are also examining the feasibility of a bridge between Ghana and Suriname to the east. The President appealed to Mercosur in the interest of solidarity and integration to continue its vigilance to safeguard the sovereignty and security of small states on the South American continent. That's all in this week's diary for the period July 11 to July 17, 2015. Before we go, these were some of the highlights. President David Granger addresses the United Nations at a high-level meeting in Ethiopia, then travels to Brazil for a Mercosur Summit. The President summons Cabinet to its earliest meeting to spearhead flood relief efforts after Ghana's coast is hit by record rainfall, and the head of state celebrates his birthday with a Thanksgiving. Do join us again for the next program when we will bring you more of the President's activities. I'm Paul McAdam, thanking you for watching. For more information, contact us via email at gina.govgy@gmail.com or visit our website www.gina.gov.gy. Thanks for watching.